Well, let's move on now and we'll award our week 2 position group grades. First off, quarterbacks, you get an A plus. Baron Morton looked sharp after coming back from what was nearly a season-ending knee injury in week 1. Morton was 18 for 26 with 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. Hammond got the ball in the second half. He was 7 for 10 for 94 yards and 1 touchdown. And Mitch, the closer, Griffiths, made an appearance late in the game, was 2 for 2 for 19 yards. Almost got the ball in at the very end, just ran out of time. Running backs, you get an A, solid A. Adam Hill was your leading rusher with 6 carries for 127 yards. He carried the bulk of the workload in the second half. Jacoby Williams shined as well, in my opinion, with 9 carries on 54 yards. Cam Dickey also had 9 carries for only 10 yards, but he punched in 2 touchdowns. Looked really good in short yardage situations. He did look a lot better, too, in the pass protection game, which is something I specifically wanted to see after last week. Baron Morton stayed upright the entire game. Wide receivers, you get an A+. Reggie Virgil had a great game with 5 catches for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. Country boy Coy Eakin was your leading receiver with 3 catches, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Bryson Jones added another touchdown as well. Terrence Carter, by the way, only 1 catch for 50 yards, but go watch the highlights because what a freaking 50 yards that was. Terrence Carter is going to be really, really good for you this season. You got the ball in the hands of 13 different receivers when it was all said and done. Offensive line, you get an A+. Not a single sack was recorded last Saturday by the Kent State Golden Flashes. You also rushed for 230 yards. What more can you ask for from this unit? A+. Now we'll move on to the defense. As I've said before, I like to grade the defense on a scale of pass-fail. This unit passed overall to the tune of a 48-point differential. Ben Roberts was your leading defender with 6 tackles in the ball game. John Curry was another highlight of the game with 5 tackles. A.J. Holmes had 4 solo tackles, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for a loss, as well as the lone fumble recovery of the night. And of course, Skylar Gill Howard with the play of the game as he picked off C.J. Montez and took it to the house in what will forever be known as the Thick Six. Mike Gollett Jr. still levitating somewhere after that play. The only real negative were the 14 points that you allowed in garbage time. It was the 4th team against Kent State starters, and the game was clearly over at that point, so I'm not going to fault them too much. And as I mentioned in the pregame in last week's show, or excuse me, in the postgame show, while we would have loved absolute and total domination, just the quality of player on the Group of 5 level is going to be a lot different than in the FCS level. And naturally, the first team of Kent State was going to be very comparable to your 4th team players. I mean, you've got guys playing for Group of 5 teams who have NFL aspirations, and you just didn't have that on the FCS level. I'm not saying that Kent State players had any NFL aspirations, but they're playing on that team because they're better than any FCS roster that you'll find. But definitely some coachable moments. There was also a missed opportunity to recover a fumble because players were attempting to scoop it up and score rather than just fall on it. Fall on the ball, guys. I'm sure nothing that can't be worked out over a week of practice, though. And this is why you play these games again. On special teams, Micah Hudson gets the only kick return of the game. Took it for a solid 12 yards. He gets an A. He's going to break one loose one of these days, too. Tristan Gentry looked freaking amazing on punt returns as well. He gets an A. However, the rest of the punt return unit, I'm going to give him a C after multiple holding penalties canceled out what would have been great returns all the way down into Golden Flash territory. Kickers get an A+. Both Upton Belafont and Stone Harrington were perfect with 1 field goal and 4 extra points apiece. The kickers accounted for 14 total points, so you got 2 touchdowns out of your kickers. Jack Burgess also gets an A+ with 2 punts, both of them landing inside the Kent State 20-yard line. Welcome to the season, Jack Burgess. The streak ended after Texas Tech did not have to punt the ball one time in week 1, but fantastic from Jack Burgess and the job he does. I think you'll be completely good in the hands of Burgess. I got to see Austin McNamara punt for the Jets, and that, when you lose a guy like Austin McNamara, you get a little nervous because he was one of the best to ever do it. All in all, a great showing for the good guys on Saturday. Some things to work on and improve, but that's why these games are important. As I mentioned, nobody gets excited to watch a game against Kent State, but these are the games that get your team prepared for Big 12 play.